That's the leftover you're looking for.
Grotto. Grotto. Sqvip up. Grotto. Grotto.
He says that's enough to get the Mekton functional. You'll have an engine, a fuel soaker, a gun and a gathering net, but no armor, nor enough oxygen supply.
Feel shit, Fred. Your body.
Something he devised to salvage valuables from the ground. There are usually spots hidden beneath puddles of oily goo where you can use the net. He's been working on another project for the Mekton, a cannon, but it needs ammunition, and by that he means the Sqvips. He says if they're trained right, they'll turn into a distraction for the Jumbo Puff. The best way to find Sqvips is to go talk to Moog. He knows the ins and outs of every breathing thing left alive after the apocalypse. Unfortunately, this means you'll have to venture farther out into the dead zone than Moog's camp on the steep depot. Once you find Moog, he'll be able to give you directions to where you'll find Sqvips. Gizmo thinks he's a little peculiar, but very knowledgeable. He has the ins and outs of all monster and creature whereabouts. Feel that? It's a lack of air. The grease monkey's Mekton is built sturdy, just like himself. Can you imagine how this place used to look before the dead oil flood? Might want to hold your breath before you head any further. You're about to witness the breathtaking vistas of what's known as the Dead Zone. Back to sneaking around. That over there is Steepo Deepo, the cliffside that Moog hangs on to.
Botse. In Mo. Diava. Jamakuda Horedatunka Kalba Wuksa U Inta Badankale.
This one's impressed to see you out here. He figured you'd be dead by now. Not many are as tough and clever as you must be.
Waksan Nakale Zegi.
Claims he goes after the most dangerous game, huge monsters.
Kuntuf
Moog says that all your power doesn't do you a bit of good if you're not willing to pull the trigger when the time comes.
Waksan Donaneya.
Out there with the monsters, it's kill or be killed. Which will it be for you?
Mustak Bala.
You might have a steady aim, but you need to be sure that you pick your targets with care.
Badan Odidimada Bulshada. Guhu.
It's hard to make those life or death decisions for others, but someone's got to do it. Otherwise, they'll do it themselves, and you know they'll miss.
Inta Badam Waksuva.
Claims he mostly kills whoever he doesn't like.
Mechzien Papa Zulu.
Says it's wild that the world seems to be coming back, but he supposes that means more monsters for him to shoot.
Pianta.
Gets why you're thinning the herd so hard, but he wishes you'd leave some monsters for everybody else.
Papa Zulu Bestilka.
Says you should give up on working with the stubborn myriad. He keeps trying to put out their lights, and they keep putting up new ones.
O Waksu
He's afraid you're just as stubborn as them.
Coca-Guana.
But enough of that, right?
Govein Coca-Guana. Ekaya Marafka. Tid.
He says the wildlife, nature, has changed and turned against us. Instincts of survival took over when the world changed. He's not sure about their veggie diet anymore, and if it's changed, who knows what it's done with the chemical composition of their body output.
Goga Bustarnyadafa will she like book.
Right now, though, he feels he's come to a point where he's got a pretty clear idea on the whereabouts of monsters, both tall and short.
Fiona
Says as big as they are, the world is bigger. To find where they are, you need to see where they've been.
Vaksa U Inta Badan.
Moog says you must learn to walk before you can run. It takes practice before you can call yourself a monster hunter.
Lema
Fortunately for you, he can help. He understands you need to start off with something small before you go big.
Mustakabala no Kondunash Hidlo. Eskayamaku.
There's no better place to start than a Sqvip cave. Hunting down a couple of these little critters for yourself should keep you on your toes.
Kafe Kuali.
Says you stick to the haunting and shots present themselves later. Let's see. Feel that power. Keep filling your air holes. Wait, it's the Sqvip hole-up. The place is just filled with critters. Lockety-locked. Once the volatilization from the nuclear waste evaporated, a volatile gas rose through the soil and infested structures, even Toxanol's own buildings. So, in a way, they caused their own death. Take this seriously, or it'll take you down. Oh, idea. Go knock the lid off that sludge truck. It'll fill the place up and you can get up to that entrance there. Bullet needs a home. Look what you... You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. Amazing. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Put one robot foot in front of the other. In the old world, roads like this really led somewhere. Now, most of them lead to disaster. You feel bright-headed now.
Playable. Grotto. Grotto. Keep up. Grotto. Grotto.
He says that's enough Sqvips to sustain the Mekton's claw crane cannon with infinite ammunition. Well done.
Zoop.
That's the special weapon he made to store the Sqvips in the Mekton. It will be strong enough to launch them at the Jumbo Puff.
Zoop.
Gizmo's made vehicles before to confront the Jumbo Puff himself, but failed. But this time, it's different. The Mekton will be strong enough to do the job. It's time to put a stop to the World Eater now. Otherwise, he fears the damage it's caused to the tree already will be too much to handle. He asks you to not even think about taking on the Jumbo Puff on foot. You'll need the Mekton to do the job. Take his word for it. There's time to improve the Mekton before you confront the Puff. There are more wreck boxes out in the dead zone with gear you should be able to equip the Mekton with on your own. It's already quite sturdy, but upgrading it will greatly improve your chances of victory. Gizmo wants to help if he can. Says you're silly for not grabbing everything for yourself before the world ends. You'll know how horrible the Porky Puff is when you finally meet it face to faces. Says you'll see each other later. Gizmo wants to help if he can.
Fruit, drink, typo.
Says it would have been easy for you to end up bitter, and is glad you kept your head about you. Thinks you should take the day off and relax rather than trying to push one way or the other. Says goodbye to you. Gizmo wants to help if he can. Says you'll meet again. Check out that day. Itchy trigger finger. Imagine that. You could just go to a place like this to get a proper meal back in the old world. You'll get another chance to shout someday. The light of day shows how bad the world has become. Puff is kicking it up a notch. It's time for an electric performance. bad feeling about this. It goes all the way down to the stomach. Start like a snack, and you'll end up with a ride down the intestinal canal. That's too close to the end station. Better move up and away, or be swept out the bowel way. Wow, what a super-sized wormwhip. That must be as big as they come. You see, it's what's on me. The torus is pumping at half a beat. You know what to do. Guessed it would go down with a throw-up. Can it really get any better than that? He thanks you for dealing with the first World Eater. It's a start. You should go see Out of Date and find out what you can about the machine he's named the Ark. You're good-hearted enough, so you'll have no problem getting him to share the information with you. He trusts you know where to find Out of Date by now. He's always been at the foot of the tree, and that hasn't changed. Darkness is crawling over the sky. The deep cut. You've got more than a flesh wound. That's an intact plant hut over there. Wonder what's growing in it. Don't lose your way in the blackness. Go on, catch it. Doesn't riding a beast like this feel good? That's a proper junk depot. Just think of the things chucked away. The yerp fields, where the echo of your actions resounds clearer than any other place you'll find, except for where that's not true. There it is, the Tree of Life. The idea that all life is related by common descent, where the twigs are existing species and those produced in the past represent the succession of the extinct. The tree's great branches were once budding twigs, a connection between the past, present, and future. A representation of all extinct and living species with its ever-branching and beautiful ramifications. We are an evolution of those that came before. It's time for an adventure, for good or bad. Nice, some bark wood scrap for you. Let's see. It's a place well hidden. It's just below the above.
Mokbu far kobi. Luatolu doma.
Out of Date's impressed you made it this far, but there's still so much left to do. The end of the world is still on everyone's minds.
The water.
You've beaten a path where you have the power to destroy or save everyone. Question is, what you'll do with that responsibility.
Mokbu far kobi. Mok bebok.
He can sense that your heart beats steadily and acknowledges that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others.
Tolidrea ya maoloa.
Thinks it's important that you remember who you are and where you came from. Someone without knowledge of their history and origin is like a tree without roots.
Tolidrea ya maoloa. Honto kontue bon yevun goja.
What do you think his are? He's the one that's called Out of Date, remember?
Koyevun. Tuvun bonon. Tuwavu.
Out of Date says there's a time for everything. And now there's no use thinking of the past, for it's gone.
Put the water.
Think of the present because that's where you are. It's time to set your priorities as the one who completes things.
Cantita duela bofo.
If you continue to do good, good will follow you.
Tolomawanya. Ya, sawata mua.
If the world really does end, there won't be anywhere to run. So, he's prepared for the worst.
Evunkutu buvum.
Two sides to everything, but for him it would be devastating if you were forced to use the Ark to escape while the world crumbled.
Yuba doluwawa.
Out of Date says there's no clear record of the chain of events that changed the course of history and brought the world to its knees.
Oloi bo bopaweg papamofobak.
He's found evidence on the Ark, records of a crisis, decades of contamination that permeated the ground and broke its inner core.
Fabobe mok kofar.
The contamination disrupted what we now know as Ki energy, the life force that runs through all things, living and inanimate.
Bubuko von yunvun kutuvun poputowe.
He's been told the blight affected everything at a genetic level and turned our perception of normality on its head.
Taimis yowotulua nuekek ujbar no barke.
It was only those that changed that avoided extinction, proving that the possibility for survival and renewal was real.
Tamuk gabamuk tab. Come reaper.
He understands you are curious about the ship at the foot of the tree. He says it surfaced when the oil broke through the ground.
Tamuk gabamuk tab.
The Ark predates the back-in days, and now, after years of study of the manuals he found inside, he believes he's figured the ship out.
Beboko kontabe udenu kun nunyofobo.
The Ark has room for 4 more, even if you think no one else is worth saving if the world comes to an end.
Kim hobe bekoko hifar muk.
He'll keep the seats open, and you are free to invite up to 4 others to join you in the Ark in the event of a cataclysm.
Beboko kontabe hikobe hifari kobo farmu.
Out of Date says that from what he's heard, you've been busy.
Momombuso?
He says he appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's got urgent news from his friend Goop in the southeast.
Wumbobo duboko.
Out of Date says he knows you're good-hearted enough to do your best to support Goop.
Mpa wherefore wherewe. To wavu.
He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Goop and making sure he gets what he needs is up to you. That's the sound of impending doom. Out of Date's premonitions of imminent disaster are true. The Porkypuff needs to be handled.
Pilfov ugvuhu vobra boom.
Out of Date says that Goop is worried now that the Southeast World Eater is stepping up its activity.
Iatu yao mawa fabobe mok kofar.
He explains that Goop is working on a goo-gliding vessel in order to get to the World Eater, but needs help to get it done.
Kobwa, jakie? Pilwów ugwuhu, wobra, bum.
Out of Date suggests that you should head southeast as fast as possible and see what you can do to help.
Mauketu, tolu, ajadre.
He wonders what's on your mind.
Mokbu far kobi.
Understands completely.